Okay, good. Thank you, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Glad to talk about my favorite thing here at MIT. I've taught lots of courses over the years. This has been the most fun and the hardest work of anything I've ever done. And what I want to talk about is how we blend an online course on shaping the future of work to a course in the Sloan School called Managing Businesses for People and Profits. So we bring our MIT MBAs into the online course so that they can learn about the next generation workforce. Because who's in the online course? It's workers out there. The median age is 32, students, older workers. The oldest participant was 83 last year. So we have people from all around the world who will be in the workforce, are in the workforce. It's opportunity for our MBAs to actually talk to them, engage, and learn from them, basically covering a lot of the same material. To give you a sense of why am I doing this online course, get no credit for it in the Sloan School, but it's because I'm concerned. I'm concerned about what's happening in the workforce. I'm concerned about the societies in which we find ourselves in. This basically is something that a group came up with to say, here are the pressures that we're all facing in our societies that could explode, that are exploding in some ways, that have exploded, whether it's income inequality, the social tensions around immigration, the concerns about globalization and who's been left behind in so many regions of the world and the country, and then the worry about what's going to happen as technology advances as well. So all of these things are affecting people in the workforce today, and we need new solutions to how we address these issues constructively and on the basis of research. So here's what we do in the online course. It's motivated as a call to action. It's aimed at getting students to really think about what they can do to change the course of events and to shape their future careers and their organizations. We use the metaphor of a social contract. That's essentially what do we expect work to produce for individuals and for firms and society. And we build to the point where students create the next generation social contract. They write it, they negotiate it, and they come up with it. And so as we do this, we build on a lot of research that we've done here at MIT and our students and others, colleagues around the country, around what we call high road firms. That is, firms that can be both productive, profitable, and provide good jobs and careers. And the core concept is that firms have a choice. Business leaders have a choice on how they design and compete, and we can do it in ways that are more productive for jobs and careers. But then we take on something that's more controversial. I believe very strongly in empowering workers themselves to have a voice. Unions used to do that. They do that to some extent as still in our societies. But we've got to invent new ways to rebuild the bargaining power that's been lost as unions have declined. And we talk about ways to do that. And then we talk about how do we bring these parties all together to build a new social contract in a more constructive way. So that's what we cover in the online course. And then how do we blend that with our on-campus course? Much of the materials are the same, a little bit more in depth on campus, obviously, for our MBAs, a little bit more technical, but we use a lot of the same videos and a lot of the same readings and allow us to essentially flip the classroom that way. But the students are engaged with the online students, the MBAs, by facilitating some of the discussions. They lead the discussions. They bring their own ideas into the discussion. They bring new information and new research. They then help facilitate the social contract negotiations by generating, taking the first phase of the data that come in on ideas and generate written proposals that then go back out for students to vote on them in the end. We also have a number of students who have done follow-up research. 3 great MBAs have done case studies of new forms of worker representation and worker dialogue. And these same 3 MBAs have written a wonderful little op-ed about, hey, business schools, what about the workers? Why don't we hear about that more in our classes? And then we also run a 1-week Sloan Innovation Period where I take the whole course and try to condense it down to a week's worth of materials relevant to our MBAs. So this has been a really rich way of linking what we do on campus to the students out there. And the best comment from the MBAs and course evaluations so far has been, hey, they don't think the way we do. I think that's why we do this, to get them to understand how the workforce itself thinks about business problems and their workforce issues. So one of the exercises that I said we do, and this is just to give you a flavor, they build a social contract. This is what our MIT X, the online course students, had to say with the help of the MBAs. And if you look at it, you know, maybe if we could get business and government and labor and the workforce itself to address these issues, this is what we could create. This is what the students expect for the future on rewards and benefits, certainly coverage of health insurance, profit sharing or sharing in the fruits of the economy, having more investment in training and development for new technologies, making sure that workers have the flexibility to work and meet their family responsibilities and use all of the tools of communication to work at times that are convenient for them. And then finally, as we're seeing in the Me Too movement, a workplace that's free of discrimination and harassment. These are some of the things that come out of this process. This is stuff that we don't teach in the business schools around this country, but it's stuff that our students are getting exposed to in a variety of ways with the help of the online student population. So I'd invite you, if you want, to join the online course. We'll teach it starting again in March. You could also join the MBA class if you'd like. That starts obviously in a week, and we invite students from across campus. Now let me finish, because my wife says I never can leave home without this slide. And if nothing else, it tells you why we should be working on these issues. Because this is the reality that workers in the United States at the moment face. This is a picture of the old social contract from the 1940s to the 1980, where productivity and wages moved together. As the economy grew, so too did the average income of the American workforce. Something happened in the last period of time since the 1980s. We have a problem of stagnant wages, growing inequality, and these are the kinds of things that motivate us to address these issues by engaging people directly, engaging our students on campus with the real workforce today and tomorrow and moving forward. So it's been great fun to do this, tremendous learning on my part on how to teach in new and innovative ways, and I would recommend it to any of my colleagues either in Sloan or other business schools or on this campus. Thank you very much.